I'm Arisa. It's so good to see you. I have been wanting to make this video for a long time. I've been putting it off, but we're doing it. And yes, I actually did read these books a couple months ago, but I did read them all in 1 month. So that part is true. Let's just get into it. I have maybe mentioned before that I got back into reading when I found this book on my future mother-in-law's nightstand. It is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, and I saw it and noticed that it was written by a Japanese author, and then I realized I had never Let's just start over. Also, this guy needs a name, so let me know in the comments if you have some good names for my ponytail fern. Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, I saw it, I realized that the name was Japanese, and I realized that for the first time in my life, I have been an avid reader for a long time. One of the first series that I fell in love with growing up was A Series of Unfortunate Events. Actually, before that was Animorphs. Anybody? Animorphs? Those books are cool, man. I never really understand people's rating scales, so I want to make mine clear. If I rate it a 3-star, then I liked it. But I would be hesitant to recommend it to people because maybe I'm just not that confident in it. It's a good book. I liked it. Would I recommend? Maybe yes, maybe no. I feel like 4-star, I liked it. I would definitely recommend it. And then 5 is like life-changing. This book changed my life, or this book directly inspired the novels that I write. Like, it has to be monumental, like quote after quote after quote, or just, you need to read this. And even if you read it and you don't like it, I don't care. Like, that's what a 5-star is. That's like, I'm so confident in the fact that I love it, that even if you hate it, it's fine. I'm just happy that you know to read it, you know? But like a 3, I'd feel bad recommending it to you if you didn't like it. So that's kind of my criteria. Before the Coffee Gets Cold was so good that I ended up reading, in that same month, every other book written by him. This book will heal your soul. One of these books is about grief, and I was at that same time going through the loss of a pet that was very dear to me and my partner, and I cried so hard. This book helped me navigate certain feelings that I didn't know how to put into words, and it just softened my heart. I felt so cozy. I felt so many different emotions, but in a really peaceful way. I felt so calm and cozy reading these, but they did touch my heart in so many different ways, and I think they could be really healing for some people. They're really easy to read. My fiance said that I was reading a book for teenagers because apparently the text was really big. I don't know. I did end up reading a different book later, and then I was like, maybe he was right. But I think they're just meant to be cozy, easy, light reads to make you feel all good inside, and that's exactly what they did. So I will rate these a 5. And they were my favorite book series for a very long time. If Cats Disappeared from the World, this book was very controversial in our household. My soon-to-be sister-in-law and my soon-to-be mother-in-law both read the book. Sister loved it. She and I were like, we love this book. Yeah, definitely recommend it to mom. She's gonna love it. Mama hated this book. She despised the main character. She was like, he's so selfish. I hate him. How could he do this? Blah, 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 blah. At the end, she felt like she didn't have any closure. But me, from what I remember it being a really thoughtful narrative and a really creative way of navigating a deal with the devil, death, life, grief, relationships that need to be mended or nurtured, family, friendship, what's important to you. I thought it was heartwarming. I really liked the way that, I mean, without spoiling anything, the main character gets pretty much a death sentence from the hospital, goes home to see that the devil is there to make a deal with him. In exchange for making one thing in the world disappear, he will be granted 1 extra day of life. Very intriguing. I love the premise. I love when books use a creative catalyst for really real themes in life. So I'm gonna say, did I like it enough to recommend it confidently? I really liked it. I annotated a lot of it. It was a really fast read. I think it's only like 152 pages. I'm gonna rate it a 4. I do think it's a good read, and I do recommend it. I think it's thoughtful. Go in with an open mind. Next. Weathering with You by Makoto Shinkai. Makoto Shinkai, ever since Your Name, has become my favorite anime director alongside Hayao Miyazaki, who creates all the Ghibli films. But I thought, since I personally want to be a novelist, I want to make stories with words, I was ecstatic to find out that Makoto Shinkai actually wrote and writes light novels alongside his movies. So he has another movie called Weathering with You, which I have not seen, but I read the book and it was really cute. It wasn't anything crazy. It was like a fun coming-of-age story. This boy leaves home, he has some messy past, and then he meets a girl in the city who he falls in love with, and she has a very special power. I liked all of the symbolism and the Japanese mythology that Makoto Shinkai typically likes to include in his stories, and maybe I would appreciate it better on the screen. Maybe he is, because he's so well known for his art and his beautiful imagery and his soundtracks. Whoever does his sound design, you feel exactly what you're supposed to be feeling in that moment thanks to the music paired with the animation. It's just so good. If you haven't seen a Makoto Shinkai film, please go see Your Name. Suzume is also good. If you like something really, really light and cozy but real, Garden of Words was an interesting one. He makes beautiful, beautiful movies. His book was very sweet. And I would give it a 3. It was good, but I don't know. It was okay. What I did love was his afterword. This touched me. For this reason alone, is a book that changed my life. Now, he made Your Name, which was arguably one of the most famous, popular anime movies at the time. It was a hit, super successful. None of them thought it was going to be as successful as it was. It was the first time in his life where he started hearing his name when he was out and about. He heard random strangers talking about him, and he started noticing that people were speaking not very kindly about the movie. There were things that they didn't like. And at first he racked his brain for 6 months, I think, to try to figure out why people didn't like it or where he went wrong. And then he said, I didn't get a clear answer out of that experience, but I did make up my mind about something for myself. Maybe I should have realized earlier, but I had a renewed awareness that movies, or more broadly entertainment, don't need to be correct or set an example. All I can do is turn what I actually feel in my own life into stories. As a matter of fact, when I reached that determination and wrote this story, it was a lot of fun. It was an adventure I could personally get excited over. I didn't give a single thought to making something good enough for a summer blockbuster that would appeal to people of all ages and genders. Basically, he made something that he enjoyed. I'm studying 100 different stories from Japan in 100 days in my own journey to becoming a better writer. And I've come to find that a lot of the themes, just like Weathering with You, just like Gachi Akta, just like My Hero Academia, they all said they just made something that was fun. They made something that they thought was cool. Maybe there's something to that. Kiki's Delivery Service was a really cute book. I think some people might not appreciate it as much unless you really like reading cozy fantasy. There are no stakes. There are no stakes in this book. And it actually got picked up by Ghibli Films and became one of my favorite Ghibli movies, Kiki's Delivery Service. So I wanted to read the book that inspired the movie with the hopes that maybe I could make a book that would inspire someone to make an anime someday. And it's just a really cute story. It's a woman was inspired by her daughter, who drew a picture of a witch riding a broomstick with a little radio hanging off of it. So then she wrote a story about a little witch around the same age as her daughter coming of age and finding her place in the world. And it felt so sweet, and I hope that someday when I become a mother, I can write a book like this. I don't know why I'm getting like teary-eyed. But she basically, reading this story made me feel like she was raising her daughter. She was teaching her daughter through the story of Kiki. She was giving her these very real life lessons on, you know, accept that if you don't have something, maybe you don't need it, classism, being helpful when Kiki has to find a job in the city. Her mom reminds her, like, make sure to use your gifts, be helpful, be useful to others. And just like navigating the complex relationships of adolescence. And I mean, even as an adult, I feel like you could read this and feel a little part of your inner child be healed. I will give this, Kiki's Delivery Service is a 3.75. I like it. I really want to recommend it, but only if you're a certain type of reader. On the complete opposite side from cozy fantasy, A Tale for the Time Being I picked up because the last name Ozeki is Japanese, but I have a sneaking suspicion that the author is half, or maybe second generation, third generation Japanese. I also picked this up because of the cover. I love the cover. I love the old-fashioned, old-style Japanese drawings. I love the layered colors. I love it. I loved everything about it. This book, at first, was a little bit overwhelming when I saw how small the text was and how many words there were. Just because it had been a long time since I read a book that jam-packed with information. But surprisingly, I picked it up and I couldn't put it down. And I actually read it, I want to say in one day. It was like the weekend or something. And man, this book is raw, super funny. Basically, the main character, the protagonist, is an author who is stuck in a rut. And one day, a Hello Kitty lunchbox floats onto the shore. And in it is the diary of a 16-year-old Japanese girl. And in the diary, the protagonist figures out that this girl is contemplating taking her own life. So, and my goodness, the inner monologue of this 16-year-old girl is so unfiltered and unhinged that I was shooketh at first, but then I realized that I have a lot of unhinged thoughts and intrusive thoughts, and for that I felt like validated. It was nice. This story took me places I could have never fathomed. I could have never expected where this book was going to take me, so I really don't want to say too much. This book unexpectedly taught me a lot about science, nature, quantum theory, and the untold narrative of kamikaze pilots in World War II. I highly recommend it if you have the attention span, if you have the capacity or the willingness to read a book with just beautifully written sentences, and sometimes complex themes, but written very well, very digestible, then I do recommend this to you. So for that, I will give it a 3.75 as well. Yeah. Kamigawa Food Detectives was also a very cozy read. I want to say this book was almost boring, but in a good way. This book, I thought at first was going to be similar to Before the Coffee Gets Cold. And Before the Coffee Gets Cold is about a cafe where it's rumored that you can go and you can travel back in time, except there are a lot of rules associated with it. Like, you can't change anything. Even if you go back, nothing will change. And also you have to leave before the coffee gets cold, which I absolutely love as a metaphor because nobody really knows at what exact moment the coffee gets cold, which is like life. You don't know how much time you have for anything. It's so good. So I thought the Kamigawa Food Detectives would also be something kind of magical like that because the story is about a father-daughter duo that run a restaurant, and when people come to this restaurant, they make a food or a dish for them that reminds them of something. Maybe the past, maybe someone they knew, maybe someone they lost, and it helps heal them. It's like food therapy. And I thought it was going to be something kind of magical, like they had some like woohoo magic power or something where they could create this meal based on speaking. I don't know, I actually don't know what I was expecting, but it really is just that the father and the daughter, especially the father, is very good at listening. Very good at listening, connecting dots. They call themselves food detectives, which is exactly what they do. And they go out and they search how to make this. But the father has a very he has strong intuition. So it's cute. It's cute. And the food, the way that they write food, oh my goodness, this made me, I had to note down some of the places and the food that was mentioned because the next time I go to Japan, I want to try to eat at these places. I want to try to eat these foods. It did make me want to start cooking Japanese food again and really connecting with my culture. Yes, but it is a super cozy read. So if you're looking for something with more action or any kind of stakes at all, maybe it's not for you. But if you love a cozy book, just that makes you feel really good, then I do recommend it. So then what? What do I do? Do I give it a? Ooh. I'll give this one a 3.75 then, which means for the time being, I'm gonna give a 4. Because for the time being is one of those books that like I think about. Like in a random moment, I'll think back and I'll be like, huh, life is kind of some way. And I don't really think about this book as often as I think of for the time being. So I think I'll up that rating to a 4, and then I'll give this cozy, cute little book a 3.75. And lastly, I wanted to talk about my favorite book, which unfortunately I don't have on me right now. I have it, but I've turned the cover inside out because I'm using it as a visualization of my soul story that I want to write. And it's sitting on my bookshelf in the other room, flipped around with my book title written on it. Why I did that to my favorite book? Because it's my favorite book, and I wanted to channel the energy of the author into my own writing. But the book is What You Are Looking For Is in the Library, and it gives the same vibes as Before the Coffee Gets Cold. It's written in that kind of mysterious but gentle slice of life kind of way, kind of like how Before the Coffee Gets Cold, it's different people's stories and points of views, but in the same setting of the coffee shop. This one also works in the same way, except it's not written by the same person. No, it's not. Different people's stories, but all intertwined through the library. And I love it because I'm a huge lover of the library. I'm a huge lover of books. I love thoughtful stories. This one is definitely literary fiction. You could say maybe magical realism, but it's a little bit unclear if there is magic involved or if the librarian is just really good at what she does, or coincidental, who knows. And maybe that's kind of the magic of it too, is the unknown. And yeah, it's just about these people that are looking for various things in life, and they get recommended to go to the public library, and they check out a book, and sometimes they check out a book, and then another book, seemingly unrelated, is recommended to them, but sometimes you find the answer to life's questions in the most unexpected places. And this book I have annotated so much for anybody going through any different circumstances in your life. Maybe you're trying to balance work and being a parent, you're trying to balance your passion and your finances, and how can you pursue your passions but still have financial stability. Maybe you're trying to discover joy in life again through a new hobby. I mean, there are so many stories, and so for that reason, the fact that it is my new favorite book and that it has really impacted me personally, and for that reason, I would give it a 5. I recommend it to anybody who reads. I think it's so sweet. It's not a hard book to read or to get through. It's an easy read. It's very light, very cozy, but also very thoughtful and insightful, and to me, life-changing. So yeah, those are all the books that I read in a month, all by Japanese authors translated to English. And yeah, I'm really excited to kind of pivot on my channel into books and manga and anime and storytelling and what makes a good story, so that I can hopefully one day become a published author who writes books that people like. And yeah, I'm so nervous, I want to throw up, but we're doing the thing. If you see this on the internet, then it means that I did push through and actually edit the video that I filmed, and so for that I'm really proud of myself. And I hope that whatever it is that you're struggling to do, just know that it does get easier the more you do it, and once you get it done, it's like, whew, you don't have to think about it anymore. So I encourage you to also do that thing. You got this. Next week I'm going to read only books by Japanese authors that have cats on the cover. So please subscribe so I can see you then, and in the meantime there will be other videos going up if you like anime or manga, and also you can follow me on Instagram for, I don't know, like live tidbits and sneak peeks into my chaotic brain. So see you somewhere. Bye. And until the next story, stay cozy. Wow, why did my voice go up like 8 octaves there? I like became a whole different person. It's like when I speak Japanese.